But as I said, we're going to lead off the Means Report with Congressman Joe Wilson. Congressman, I know that your schedule is slammed, and I appreciate you coming back.
Well, Brad, it's an honor to be with you, and thank you for raising key issues to the community. It's just such a great honor for me to represent Aiken and Barnwell counties, which are in your territory. And I'm just, hey, I'm so grateful for the recognition in the past 2 weeks of the greater area with the masters, and people worldwide understand fully what a great world-class community this is.
Yeah, they know about us for sure now. Did you get to go to the tournament?
I was.
How was it?
It was terrific. It was before the win.
Yeah.
But hey, it's always beautiful, and the course always is world-class.
Listen, one of the things I noticed at the Masters this year was the push to be on the cutting edge of technology. They're doing 4K broadcasts. They're introducing virtual reality so you can feel like you're there. You, too, are remaining focused on technology, especially when it comes to the government and its ability to charge us for our internet. And that's new news for you. Tell me about what's happening with the bill you're backing.
Well, I'm backing to make sure that it's not taxed because there's an effort. Hey, we know. There are politicians, if it moves, it was Ronald Reagan who pointed out, if it moves, tax it. And so my view is that we have sufficient revenue for the operation of the government, and it should not be a backdoor means of taxation.
What kind of vibe are you getting from your fellow lawmakers? I mean, you talk about taxing the internet. It terrifies a lot of people because it's been so free for so long. Could this happen?
Well, sadly, the good news, no. With the House that we have a sufficient conservative majority that would not favor taxation. We have a conservative majority in the U.S. Senate that would block it. But it's entirely dependent on maintaining, from my point of view, a Republican majority in the House and Senate.
Also, legislation coming from your camp that's making headlines this week concerns our nation's veterans. I had on my notes before we met today to ask you what you're doing on our veterans' behalf, because you always are doing something. Tell me about what you're doing when it comes to preventing crimes.
Well, I'm really grateful that I have the privilege of working with the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Jeff Miller of Florida. And as a veteran myself, I served 31 years as a very proud and grateful dad of 4 sons serving the military who will be veterans, and all credit to my wife, Roxanne. We are making efforts to protect military veterans from abuse by way of crime, in terms of taking their private information and then using it against them as they adjust to civilian life, as they are very productive in the American society.
How would this help them? Would it provide stiffer punishments from those who do our veterans wrong, or would it make that information you mentioned more secure, more protected?
It would, first of all, be more secure. And we understand, and I'm really grateful as the chairman of the Emerging Threats Subcommittee of the House Armed Services Committee, that our nation, including our veterans, all civilians in our government, are under assault every day by cyber attacks. And then I always like to point out that here in CSRA, that indeed this community will be in the forefront, with Cyber Command being located at Fort Gordon. It's going to bring people to this community as the issues of cyber intercepts become more important than ever to protect the American people. So over and over again, it does interconnect, of all things, that protecting our veterans and Cyber Command and protecting against state and non-state actors who are attacking the American people.
How well known is this part of the country when it comes to being the center for Cyber Command? I know that we're excited about it down here and the possibilities that it brings, but what's the word in D.C. when it comes to how important this area is?
Well, it's known because of Signal School. And then personally for me, my third son, Julian, is a graduate of Signal School. And so it's been universally recognized that Fort Gordon is an institution of world-class training, and it fits right in that it would be the U.S. Army Cyber Command headquarters.
Let me kind of use that as a springboard to jump into a couple of topics related to cyberspace. Do you see a day when there will be, I don't want to ever say zero troops on the ground, but a day when our battles are fought online with people sitting at computers trying to stop the bad guys?
Well, actually, to a degree, we're doing that now.
Yeah.
It was really encouraging to me that a way to protect the civilian population of Iraq, to protect the American troops and the Allied troops, by use of drones. And so it was being conducted, the conflict and the monitoring of the enemy troops and the illegal enemy combatants. This is being monitored, of all things, in Nevada, and so and of activity halfway around the world.
And they can watch live from all the way on the other side of the world what those drones are seeing.
And give information and protection for our troops. Now there's a converse that's developing too, and that is that our troops and the American people, as drones become not just the property of American technology, but of enemies, and even illegal enemy combatants such as ISIL-Daesh. They also have the ability, because of the extraordinarily low cost of drones, to put American personnel at risk, put American citizens here in the United States at risk, particularly as ISIL is infiltrating the refugee population of Syria and Iraq, and infiltrating to send terrorists into Europe and also into the United States.
Congressman, how privy are you to the private information that shows these terrorists tapping into our technology? And share with us, if you will, how scary we might find that if we saw it.
Well, my view is that, of what I can say, is that the American people are at greater risk today than in my lifetime. And I truly hope that the President changes course and puts a greater focus on the dangers to the American public. Sadly, he has simply, I think, not addressed and been as concerned as he should have been of the obvious attacks in San Bernardino. American citizens slaughtered at a Christmas party. And then with the attacks in Brussels, that was actually an attack intended largely against Americans, but dozens of people were blown up. And this followed, of course, the attacks in Paris. It follows the earlier attacks in Paris. And over again, I'm very, very concerned that the administration has not been properly focused on the dangers to American families.
Do you think that'll change with a Republican president?
Yes.
What have you heard from those guys?
Well, I know it would change. The understanding of Republicans, we do understand we're in a global war on terrorism. It has not stopped since 9/11. We have not forgotten 9/11. Brad, I sadly see that there are people in Washington who have just simply forgotten that there was an attack on American soil, mass slaughter of Americans in New York, Pennsylvania, Washington. But this is continuing, and this is not new. And what we need to do is that wherever there's a safe haven for terrorist activity, we need to take action to block the safe haven so that we can protect American families here.
When you talk about this cyber war on terrorism and the fact that we are, in fact, right now fighting it online with people at computers, do you think that ties into a downsizing of our military, where we will reduce the troops that we have in those branches?
Well, I'm very concerned that we will always need ground troops. And so there's a perception that things can be done by satellite, can be done by drone. No, you must control the ground. And I'm very grateful to be working with Chairman Mac Dornberry of the House Armed Services Committee, working with Congressman Rick Allen, others, to promote a maintenance of the level of Army personnel that we have, because by reducing that, we're putting American families at risk. By reducing our Air Force to the smallest size since it was created in 1947, to reduce the Navy to the smallest size since 1916, this is sending the wrong message to persons who are enemies that have every intent of attacking American families.
Tell me about your efforts underway right now on, as far as the Overseas Travelers Act is concerned. I know you're also spearheading this effort. What might that mean for our security? Well,
I'm really grateful working with Congressman Lee Zeldin of New York. He has taken a lead on this, that we would be requiring a study of what are the entry precautions that are being taken by nations around the world, particularly in Europe, because we have a visa waiver program where people can come as they should, because we want to encourage travel, particularly with our allies and people of Western civilization, and extend it to other countries in Asia and Middle East. but we must know what precautions and what protections are being made to vet the people who are coming into their country. Because indeed, ISIL-Daesh has said that they will infiltrate, they will be sending mass murderers as they did to Paris and Brussels.
Let me ask you this. What kind of degree of difficulty would you give it right now when it comes to terrorists being able to get here and do something harmful for us?
Well, sadly, with the porous borders we have to the south, with the lack of vetting that's being done, of bringing in persons from Syria as refugees, of course the vast majority would be refugees, but in the middle of it they've also announced that ISIL will be sending people here to create cells, as we saw in San Bernardino, to kill American citizens.
Do you believe that they're capable of doing that, or it's
Yes.
just talk?
No, they're capable.
When we come back, I want to continue our conversation with Congressman Joe Wilson, talk about health care, talk about education, talk about what's going on in D.C. that may directly benefit us right here at home. We're grateful for his time and for yours as the Means Report continues.